Hello, this is Cherokee. Life after 40 is so very interesting. So, today I was inspired to talk about midlife crisis. I think all of these changes and enhancements and new understandings about life and needing to really feed your desires, especially if you haven't been living a life that is the life that you would have like initially saw for yourself when you were 10 years old, the life you imagined adulthood would be like, fun, interesting, all of that. If you plugged into the system and became a robotic drone, swiping in, swiping out, and crunched up at a desk inside, never seeing the light of day until the end of the day when it's dark out, over the course of 20 plus years, especially if you add multiple jobs on top of multiple jobs, it begins to weigh on you about actually how you are living your life. And let me tell you something. I really got to give it to people who figure this shit out when they're like 19 and 20. They're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That sounds stupid. That sounds like a horrible way to live. And if anybody saw the movie, that cartoon Soul, they really touched on a lot of key points about how people feel in our society, that many of us are not really living out the life that we would like to live. We live a life by obligation. And it can create all kinds of feelings that make us feel uncomfortable. Sad, depressed, wishful, sad. Bruce Springsteen wrote a song, Everybody's Got a Hungry Heart. And it's about a man who just up and leaves his family one day. It starts off the song, got a wife and kid in Baltimore, Jack. I went out for a ride and I never went back. Like a river that don't know where it's flowing, I took a wrong turn and I just kept going. And on the surface it might sound like a pretty fucked up thing. It really speaks to the heart of humanity. You're just like over it sometimes. You just can't do it anymore and you really just gotta follow your highest excitement. Like there's no value, Of course you value your family, but if you lose yourself too much in the transaction by working all day at a job that you don't really want to be at and not doing things on the side, like having hobbies, for example, that fulfill you, then you can really slip into that kind of I guess just up and leave. I mean, this is why people do things like that. So anyway, but that speaks to that middle age. I think it's called a middle age crisis or something like that, which I've discovered from talking to other middle agers. It's really not a crisis. It's really just a realization that I would like to live a more natural and holistic way. How I've been living is not good. It's not healthy. I'm not happy. And so I've noticed people my age and older and a little younger, but 40 plus crew, 50 plus, looking at rediscovering who we are, tuning into our true value. Like, I gotta find some value before I fucking die. Like, it's fucking crazy. But society puts that kind of pressure, and not only puts that kind of pressure, makes it seem like that's the thing to do, and everybody should be doing it. And I will say, I've worked many, I don't even know how many, I've had so many jobs, it's not even funny. I started working when I was 14, and when I became an adult and lived on my own, I was still young, I was still a teenager, and then I had to take on multiple jobs. And so I have worked a whole hell of a lot. And several of the jobs that I've had for more than a decade have been registering people in a hospital. And that particular job, I had to interact with the older generation and their Medicare insurance. And prior to that, many, when I was like 19 or 20, I started delving into medical billing a bit. And I was like, hashtag, I hate this, never do this in your life. That was the end of that. And then fast forward, so I have a back under, I understand how medical insurance works inside, outside, diagonally, through and through. I understand the heart of it. That's a whole other video by itself. But fast forward to Medicare. We are led to believe that Medicare will essentially take care of us. If you have any investments and you're used to speaking to somebody, and they'll probably tell you, no, it won't. It will not. So I hope people have investments, because it will not. And then you'll remain working, long after you think you should have retired already, but you can't afford to because you thought Medicare would cover you, and it does not by a long shot. It only covers, I think, roughly 30 to 40% of your living expenses, something like that. Now, Medicare insurance, another joke, a joke and a half, and it's become a double joke. Number one, it's very complicated, but the gist of it, number one, they do not cover your whole insurance. It only covers roughly 80%. It doesn't cover both in and outpatient. That's a whole other insurance plan you got to sign up for, and it doesn't cover your prescriptions either. These are things people do not know, and I've seen this happen, and these poor older people are stuck with these big ass fucking bills that they can't fucking afford, and then it's kind of like society has convinced you, oh, this is the thing to do. Go to college, plug into the system, get a job, and Medicare, you pay into your Medicare, which is the highest cost. I mean, I've picked apart my paycheck. I'm one of those people that knows what every tax on there is for. I know when our taxes go up. I know every penny, taking 1 cent out for what is this for? So yes, I'm that person. And the most money that you pay from your paycheck goes into Medicare disability. Why? I'm told I'm not even getting anything near what I put into it. Number one question, why? That was not the deal. And since you're breaking your end of the deal, why am I still paying for it? Anyway, so obviously I'm talking about a pretty effed up society that we live in, but unfortunately a lot of people are not aware of this, and they don't become aware of it until it's too friggin' late. By the time you're old, by the time you're retired, and by the time you have these conversations with your Medicare person, it's a little late. It's a little late to figure this out, and you're kind of, up a creek without a paddle. And I've seen this happen a lot. 10 years is a very long time to witness these kinds of things in the medical field with older people. And it made an impression on me after some time. It didn't take me 10 years to learn this lesson, but I was always like, hashtag, have a backup plan, because Medicare is some bullshit. I also have seen, and which is accurate, Medicare does not want to cover, even like if you have to be observed in the hospital, they don't want to cover that. It's ridiculous. So then you get forced into inpatient, which it doesn't cover. So it's just a really, really, really horrible, really effed up system. So when people are like, oh, we're going to make it like Medicare, it's because when politicians say that kind of thing, they're banking on the fact that you don't really know how Medicare works. You just know it's a state. Because I think Bernie Sanders was big into like making all insurances like Medicare or some bullshit like that, which I like the man. Seemed nice, but if you know about how Medicare works, you're going to have a whole lot of questions. I have a whole lot of fucking questions, which the average person is not aware of because they don't know how Medicare works. They think the deception that is presented, that Medicare is going to cover you, is going to take care of you, it'll cover your cost of whatever. I mean, they just don't tell you the details, and you don't find out the details until later. It's just because I've worked with insurances, and then I've also had to deal with insurances directly with patients for so many years that I understand how the bullshit works. Anyway, I say all that to say, I forgot why the hell I go off on that damn tangent. Don't get me started talking about the healthcare deception practices. Anyway, all of that to say, I don't know why the hell I went off on that tangent. I'll have to rewatch this video later and find out. Oh, following your highest desire, because that's one of the deceptions. We think we plug into the system and you work like a slave for your whole fucking life, and you at the end you think Medicare at least is gonna help me and care for me and I'll be able to live comfortably. No, you're not. You're gonna have to fucking work. If Medicare is all you have, you will have to continue fucking working. So it is all a bullshit ass lie. You will have to keep working, and you will have to get supplemental insurance to cover the 20% that Medicare does not want to cover. And Medicare does not cover a lot. Like, they practice, how do we not cover a valid diagnosis that people have and need coverage for in their old age? This is their specialty. And they're always pulling out, meaning no longer covering covered things that they currently cover. So, it's a hot mess. And so I have found that in middle age, we kind of figure out we've been duped in a way. It does not feel good. And the fact that you keep raising up the retirement age, which means I have less time to even collect what little bit of Medicare provides, speaks to something. Pretty soon, by the time you're dead, oopsies. Oh, you worked your whole entire life and then ended up dying and we didn't get your Medicare? Okay, yeah. Oh, we're still at deficit though. We don't know what happened to the money. It just disappeared. Anyway, that is all to say, there's a way of living and a way of being that does not speak to all that bullshit. We can follow our truest, highest desire. And I have seen that with this so-called midlife crisis, it's not a crisis at all. It is a beautiful realization that, hey, this ain't cool. I done put in 20, even if you just worked one job, I done put in 20 years of my life and I don't feel good. This is not good. It's not going in a good direction for me. This was not the deal. This is not what I thought life would be like when I was a teenager dreaming about adult in high school. What happened? And if you're smart, you'll say, why are some people not living this life and they're happy and I'm not? And then if you're humble, you point at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? And if you're wise, you say, what steps can I take so that I can begin to live my life like other people who are wealthy and or happy? Because just because you're wealthy does not mean that you're happy. Or at least happy, even if you don't want to be wealthy, because everybody doesn't want to be wealthy. How do I change my life? So that's what a midlife fake crisis is. It ain't a crisis at all. It is a beautiful realization. It is an understanding. It is a coming into your humanity. It is connecting you to source energy. It is connecting you to God. This ain't right. And I'm going to take steps, either small steps or big steps, toward something that I love to do. Okay? Because when I die, I'm not going to look back and be like, yeah, I worked my ass off my whole fucking life and never did shit for myself. Went out for beers. Yay, Anyway, I guess that's my message for today. I had a beautiful day today. I spent all day long focusing on the law of attraction, focusing on my vibration, redirecting my focus, honing in on my energies, minding my own goddamn business, and just being all up in Cherokee's business all effing day. And it felt freaking amazing to have that much effing control over myself, over my life, over my body. Freaking amazing. This was a very good day. Every day's a great day, don't get me wrong. Oh, today's Wednesday. Maybe that's why. I really focus on love in my heart on Wednesday. Every day, really, I do. But Wednesdays, I'm more conscious of it. Anyway, yeah. So let me tell you something. Self-control is amazing. And even understanding, like I've come to the understanding, it's time for me to move on. And on every level. Not just work-related. Every level of my life. It's really time to move on and up my game. And I've already been on this path. It's not like I have to start this tomorrow. I've already been started this last year. And really started making active movement this year. Last year was more learning. You got to learn things. And then this year was more creating and doing. And I still got a long road ahead of me. And it's a road I get excited about, even when I think about it. Fun, exciting, daring. Following my heart. Not doing things I don't want to do. And that's my goal for myself, both now and in the future. Stop doing things you don't want to do and only focus on the things that you do want to do. That is the essence of the law of attraction, and that spans across all of your relationships. That spans across your family relationships. That spans across. I think I said spins across. It spans across every aspect of your life, from your job, from a job you don't want to do to a job you do want to do, to your personal relationships, from friends who don't have any real value in your life, who only provide negativity, or friends who provide uplifting positivity. And that's an interesting one too, because I've had some things change. I've had some really close people, two really close people to me, die last year, which was very painful. And I mean, it's hard to find good people in the world, you know? And I've also come to understand that it's time to find new people. Not only because of that, but because I've changed and I've grown. And the reality is, your vibe attracts your tribe. There's an expression, your net worth, your network is your net worth. And what that means is the money that you make is usually reflective of the people that you surround yourself around. And that's also applies to your vibration and the friendships that you hold. And that's always been true of me. I've always specifically picked certain people to be in my life. I've never been the kind of person, oh, this person's nice, we'll be friends. It's like, no, I need to watch you and see how you are. How do you handle problems? You know, like, do you not have like emotional intelligence? Like, what is going on here? And anyone who has not been on that path, God has removed from my life. And it's as simple as that. And so it's time for me to begin the process of opening up to meeting new people, you know, which is nice. I think it's kind of fun and exciting. And man, I'm just so excited about everything that is just so tangible. It's so much like, you know, when you study energy, how energy works, and you study the law of attraction, you marry those things together, you can feel when these things are coming. Your soul will speak to you and guide you along the path of, you know, when you should chill back and when you should, you know, crunch down and move forward, and will take you, you know, rather easily through the path of least resistance for you to meet the goals that you want to meet. Um, and I can feel sometimes I know things. I don't know how, but I just know it's going to happen. Like when I moved here, um, it wasn't even a question. I think I told that story in another video. But yeah, studying the law of attraction more in depth is just a beautiful thing, because you become more of a deliberate creator, and you'll know when things are just so tangible. Like right now, when I was speaking about relationships, some stuff and stuff, it's like I'm at the point where I can reach out and feel it and touch it. So, like yesterday, I was very much in like I don't know, like a neutral kind of, like not really trying to do much of anything. And I kept like reaching out, you know, and that can be through prayer or just listening to yourself. Like, should I be doing something now? Because, you know, in our society, we're always taught to do things. And my whole mindset in my youth was do, do, do. Stay up late as long as it takes and get it done. And, you know, you can definitely create that way. But I have learned recently that it's just not necessary to create that way. So, yeah, but it's like I can reach out and touch it. And studying vibration and studying energy and the law of attraction has made me more attuned to, like yesterday, I couldn't feel any of my goals because I wasn't activating any of them. But I'm understanding today, it's almost like you have this reserve, like your desires are in like I'm pointing upwards, in a reserve. You know, it's a non-tangible reserve with like all your desires in there, right? And when you say, you know what, I think I'm ready for something new, you can reach into that reserve and like activate it, reactivate it, and begin to move to it. And then like now I can actively feel it. It's like it's right there. I just gotta bring my vibration up a little bit more to meet that. So it's just so interesting, and it's just amazing, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So do not be afraid of the midlife crisis. It is no crisis. It's not only for me. I've asked other people about their, you know, so-called midlife crises and how they're living and stuff now, and we're all essentially doing the same kind of thing, which is doing our shit. You know, embracing the loves that we have. You know, embracing what you want to do, fulfilling your life. So when you die, you can be like, you know, let's face it, no one's going to live forever. You know, some point we're all going to conk out. You want to look back and make sure that you are at least, a minimum, having some very nice and beautiful fond memories, and having more of those beautiful fond memories than you have of, oh, now that shit got real for me, now I'm in this space, I wish I had spent more time with my family, or I wish I had spent more time raising my kids, like, you know, the meaningful things. I wish I spent more time on myself. Wish I gave myself more time. Not at home or in the bar, but I don't know, surfboarding, hiking, being an artist, whatever the hell you want to do, whatever speaks to your soul. Studying astronomy, I don't know. Figure it out. Whatever you love to do, just do that. So yeah, nothing to be afraid of with the midlife crisis. It is no crisis. It is a beautiful connection between you and your internal being that is guiding you, and it will guide you toward the loves and the desires that you want. Just calm down and just allow it to put you in those places. That is the hard part. But I'll tell you, the more you do it, the easier it gets, just like anything. You know, think about when you're riding a bike. You know, you start off on training wheels, on training wheels to steady yourself. And then eventually you learn how to ride without the training wheels, just on two wheels, and you learn how to balance without falling. Then eventually you learn how to stand up. Then eventually you learn how to pop a wheelie, you know, and people do some fancy stuff on their bikes, you know. Well, you don't start out that way. It just gets better and it gets easier, right? And that's just like anything in life. It might be hard to get out of your own way. It might be hard to calm your mind. I know, talking to some middle-agers, it can be very difficult quieting your mind. And I know that last year I had that experience. It was super difficult, but I was like, I'm mastering this shit. And now it's pretty easy for me to calm my mind. But that's after like a year of making it, you know, a concentrated effort to do so. So anyway, I'm almost out of time. That's it for today. My beautiful Heart Chakra Wednesday. Love yourself. Do not fear midlife crisis. It is no crisis. It is a beautiful thing. And tune into yourself and the law of attraction. See you tomorrow.